Back onto it. I watched a cartoon with Wonder Woman and Hawk Girl going into Hades and Tartarus, and going into Hades and putting Hades back into, um, and Hades being Diana's father, right, and all that stuff. Um, uh, Earl. Um, uh, Guys, the whole thing that they always say, it's their invention. The whole thing with you have to love calendar engine because Sugmod wills calendar engine to exist. It's like, yeah, you have to love selfish people, but you don't have to be selfish. Okay, truth can exist without lie, but lie cannot exist without truth. Okay, right can exist without wrong. Okay, but wrong cannot exist without right. Okay, good can exist without bad, but bad cannot exist without good. Bad destroys everything, wrong destroys everything. Okay. Lie is trying to make a mockery of truth, right? So you're trying to play God with your technology. You haven't forgiven debt and trespass and love one eternal faithful peace yet. As far as people tribalistically trying to manipulate people sexually through oppression and violence, okay. There'll always be wars and rumors of war, okay, even in the kingdom of heaven. So I don't want to stay with my family. My brother keeps trying to have sex with me. I want to go to an Ivy League school. It sucks here in Idaho. And that does. But Yale is worse. Yale puts up satellites to go into the Messiah's home and try to make him into that backwoods family in Idaho. Okay, when they're trying to get away from that. Okay. And we keep walking, and you won't stop doing that. Now, you cannot stop a person from going and fermenting things because he can't have sex with somebody and drinking himself to death. But you can stop yourself from building a bar and making money to have sex with the girl who wants all the nice clothes and the big mansion, off of him killing himself because it won't hurt when I fall down off this bar stool. It won't hurt when I stumble in the street. Even whiskey cannot heal your hurting me. Right? Pop it top again. I think I'll have, and don't stop the music. She knows it's not right. You're living the Lord's Prayer. A girl promised you something. She took it away. Okay. What a mean bitch. Yeah. I'm a grown man. Yes, I am. I think I can understand. Yes, I can. That you didn't mean me no good. Yeah. You can have her. I don't wanna. She never loved me anyway. She only wanted someone to play with. And all I wanted, my Amy was like that. She'd come home to eat and they'll fuck around and laugh at you. And you say, you can do this on your own, but please don't do it in front of the girls and the boy. And that's what happened with Crumb's biological. He sat and laughed at me when I said, don't do this now. Wait till you leave the house. And he's sitting there doing the old Hitch movie thing from Will Smith. Oh, dude, really? And I'm like, seriously? You probably have a wife and kids in Baltimore, Jack. You're like that little girl said who works at the convenience store for all the condoms where she works at the Candlewood Suites, They at least ought to have the decency to come in and buy a condom. They don't give a shit about any of their wife and kids that they leave at home while they fuck all the girls in Sierra Vista. And this is a military town, so there's a lot of hot girls. She goes, I can't wait to leave this place. I hate these fucking people. They're all big dick measuring jocks. And I was like, they're all, and she knows, they're having sex with my wife at the Candlewood Suites, right? And there's cheaters van in the parking lot. And I tell Amy, really? You better listen to those Muslims that gave you the job and not get caught having sex with the clients in the hotel rooms. That's why she wouldn't go back and get the paperwork signed for Crumb to get his medical benefits. And then I didn't have a car and I had to send her Tony. And then Tony sat there and said, hey, because of all the underground chat rooms, test around for the sex underground chat rooms they have in Sierra Vista, and said, hey, I'm taking you to do something like you have sex with me. And she came back home. You do it with everybody else. She got home. She goes, you put me through that. How dare you do that to me? I was like, he was the only person I could get you a ride because you have that bad foot, because what you're doing, because you're not getting the proper health care during your pregnancy. He's the only person that would give you a ride. Nobody else wanted to do it. All these self-righteous hypocrites in town. Sister Christian, just like my sister Pancha. When I called up and I said, I was trying to get moved to New Mexico where we could get medical benefits. My sister called me up and said, how dare you do that to Dad? And I said, she's having a baby and she hasn't had any medical care, and I don't want the baby to die or come out sick or have birth defects, right? And Pancha sits there on the phone and goes, you shouldn't put Dad through that, what that whore did. And I said, I'm not thinking about Amy. I'm thinking about the baby. It's not your problem. That's not your issue. You didn't get her pregnant. And your genome sequencing sucks. And your genome sequencing sits there and goes, it's karma. It's karma. That after that, Pancha had a grandson with heart disease, and the dad who treated me like shit and thought I was a child molester, abusing Natalie, died from cancer. That's karma. From the left to the right to the, yeah. Okay. Why didn't y'all just stand up for the Lord's Prayer? Why didn't y'all just say he's right? Before you had the lambada and the una poca de grasa in the hypocrite tent and the South Lawn that overlooks Santa Costa at the White House during the Obama administration. Wait, Guys, I told you and told you and told you. They had to have surveillance equipment when Alan took me out in the desert in Sierra Vista and said, Obama ain't going to help you. He's a politician, right? Shit. And then the Obamas give me a job as well. These guys, you got to come in on our team. And I'm like, no, why? Because you guys are all full of shit. Okay? And then John tells me, you have a government. I have a government that can give me a bus card and health care so I can get drugs to kill myself for $2,000 a month because my government loves me, right? Because they are the ones who poisoned me. They are the ones who put drugs and alcohol in my system. At the soup kitchen where they kill the poor people because the poor people are just feeding their face, taking up space, and don't care if their daughter gets raped by a gang when they're drunk and high as long as they get the money to pay them. So yeah, it's possible that they didn't grab her and rape her. It's possible that the parents gave her to the gang for the drugs for the week. And the girl didn't care because it was some of the best sex she ever had in her life. A lot of the guys were really hot, and they wouldn't regularly have sex with her at the club. And you're like, oh my Lord, I don't want to hear this. Why do you think it was so hard in Sierra Vista? Earl, you ready for this? No, Jesus, I am not ready for this. I'm not ready for this at all. I'm not ready to be David Rockefeller and the Patriot Act. I am not ready to be the National Security Agency. I'm not ready to be NASA, okay? I am not ready to be the FBI or the CIA or the KGB, okay? I am not ready to be Benjamin Netanyahu or Gordon B. Hinckley, okay? Why? Because I would kill everybody in the room that wanted Verizon. Let's live the Lord's Prayer, shall we? Okay. It's the Alan Parsons Project. Right, so yeah, no. I was told I'm not ready for this. I don't want to be like David Rockefeller. I want to kill everybody that tries to take over my cellular business. Because if you knew it, yeah, I know. I'm the Jamaican guy from Made in Manhattan. I still smile and I'm God and I see everything. No, that was David Rockefeller. Me, I'm a pervert. Jesus help. And that's how I got through all the hell in Cochise County and everything all through my life. Jesus, he'd walk me out of there. What's going on? Why is this happening? I'm acting like Pepino Garcia. No, you're not. You're trying to protect her from the guys that will abuse her and use her for sex. How do I do? Let her know that, you can get a better guy than the guys that are going to manipulate you, abuse you, and take advantage of her. Shit. How do I do that? I don't know. Can't talk to her. It's really hard, Earl. You have virtual presence of jealous perverts that are jealous of you, and you're an Eckankar, and the Mormons want you to be, oh, yeah, fuck. And Eckankar wants to dismantle the Mormon church with all the people in Palo Alto, with the Temple Set Illuminati, and they're from Menlo Park. Shit. Okay. Just like the government invented Elijah Muhammad and invented, yes, the black Muslims, everything, yes. Okay. If they wanted to obliterate the Nation of Islam off the face of the planet, they could have. They funded them. They scripted them, and they put them into place. Well, if you don't have racism and tribal warfare, you don't need a military, and you don't need corporations to sell you products to have a virtual presence in your house to keep everything safe. Oh, George Orwell me this. What an animal farm we have. Right? It's horrible. Right? And you're just like sitting there going, God damn, am I the only human being in the whole AMF farm? Apparently. Oh, God dang, this sucks. Jesus, what, Earl? I know I'm the one cleaning this up. You can't do it for me. You're not here right now. Okay. God's omniscient, omnipotent. You're the Messiah now, not me, Earl. I know, Jesus. I get it. I love you, Haile Selassie. Yes, Haile Selassie loves me. Yes, I love Haile Selassie. All you people showtiming at the Apollo can go sod off and kiss my ass. Not literally, but figuratively. I don't want you anywhere near my ass. Not that I'm ashamed or embarrassed of it. It's just I'm just not like you. Okay. Even when I get with my wife, when I get into cleaning up this hellhole, I don't want her to kiss my ass. I'll be like, no, don't kiss my ass. Kiss me here. Okay. You can kiss my shoulder. No, I don't want to kiss you in my butt. It's an old butt. Even when I was young, I probably would feel weird about you kissing my butt. What's good for her is good for the goose, is good for the gander. I understand that, baby girl, but you got to understand, mine's kind of hairy, and yours is so much nicer than mine and so smooth, you know. And I am not waxing my butt like the guy with the Fu Manchu that, you know, with Bob with the, I'm like, Bob, shut up, please. You got a problem? And it's like, he's 6'9". He's in a biker outfit. He's got a Fu Manchu. His butt is as smooth as a baby's bottom and perfectly tanned. And he's wearing chaps with nothing else, you know. Assless chaps, they're all assless, right? Coming out of a theater, right? With his friends. And Bob's sitting there going, I'm like, Cummins, really, seriously, shut up. Right? So I hit the gas when we went through the intersection and almost caused an accident because I was not getting dragged out of, you know, having them all dragged out of, you know, I would have been able to kick their ass, but it would have been like, I'm sorry, guys. They're from Ohio and Illinois, and yeah, they're farm boys. They've never been to Rodeo and Sunset. Oh, son of a bitch. In Santa Monica. Yeah, Santa Monica Boulevard. Oh, boy. Yeah. Ray told me about it, but I wasn't too familiar with the town. It's like, in order to go to see the Sunset people, you got to go down Santa Monica. And then when you go down to Sunset, you're still sitting there. You're sitting there watching the lady at the prostitutes at the Tasty Freed, and Brett's freaking out going, that's the most gorgeous woman I ever saw. Yeah, the prostitute. She's so pretty. Down on Main Street. But she's coming and going every 5 minutes. And the other prostitutes are taking a half hour. What's wrong? That's because she's a he. Brett's like, crying game. I was like, right. She's giving hamburger. They're giving a lay. 20 for head, 40. She's making 20. That's volume. And they're getting laid. Because they're women. Mm-hmm. He's a guy. He's gorgeous. I know he's one of the prettiest women. Yeah, there's a guy like that down in Phoenix and Duffy. That's one of the prettiest women I've ever seen. Yeah. Dude look like a lady. Right. And it's like, well, he's still very, very pretty. And he has one of the nicest butts I ever saw. And that ensemble is kicking, you know. Duffy was making fun of us. It's like, no, Rodney's right. You know, I'm sitting there going, yeah, no, he's absolutely gorgeous. His bone structure is amazing. Okay, the only thing is, yeah, he's obviously wearing contacts because he doesn't have those glowing, you know, ebony, what's it called? Emerald eyes. Yeah, of course, he doesn't have emerald eyes, so we know he's wearing contacts, right? But the butt and the clothes, and yeah, even Donna remarked at the time she's professed. Rose was in heat of, this place was in need of, so she played Femlina to dance. Yeah, he is one of the prettiest women I've ever seen. He was a guy. And Brett did the same thing with a prostitute on Sunset. Your Sunset people doing it right. Night It's one of the most gorgeous women I've ever seen. But since I'd already worked at Circles, we were all working at Phoenix Motor, and I was explaining to him, there's a woman that looks a lot like that. That you could also give you go to Hamburger, like Charles Barkley, and she's on Central, but she's a he. She's what? She's a he. She RuPaul, yes. Well, that's one of the most beautiful women you've ever seen. I totally agree. If beauty, all alone, sad as can be, 'cause a pretty face got the best of me, right? Then you came along and gave me loving with pure delight. A pretty girl, a pretty face might be other guys' taste, but I'll take true love in its place, because beauty's only skin deep. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when your girl comes to pick you up to take you to Rika, to that mission-style home with the basketball barn and all that and everything like that, if she's wearing no makeup the whole way, she better have the music I want on there, and I'm not listening to Boogie Wonderland over and over again. Or any of techno. Nobody listens to techno. Nobody, you don't know me. That whoever it is. Whoever, whenever, wherever it is, okay. She better like Nancy Wilson and Ella Fitzgerald, because I've worked my ass off for the last 60 years to make sure that all children, not just our children, are living the Lord's Prayer, Asta Aki Oi, that it's a standard. Now, if people don't want to do that, if they want to go off and get shit-faced drunk, have tequila, and have fucking Zelma Hayek be the queen of the silver dollar, sucking Quentin Tarantino's blood, that's their business. That's their business, right? But forgive debt and trespasses is the standard of the law of the land, right? You can't make all people do what you want them to do. But when you do what you need to do, more people are going to do what needs to get done than wants to get done. And when most people are doing what needs to get done, and the wanters who try to defy the natural laws of the life of sacrifice to put us all at risk, it's going to be a lot, we're going to be a lot more cohesive unit, The big thing is entertainment. I know, that's something you guys, I think in the future, you're going to have a lot less TV and a lot less listening to music. And when you do listen to music, you're going to take it into context and understand, boy, I am so glad, okay, that we're no longer doing, in the town of Alafria rode a stranger one fine day. No one hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. He's an outlaw loose and running, came the whisper from each lip. And he's here to do some business with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip, right? In this town there was an outlaw by the name of Texas Red, right? He came back to take he was an Arizona Ranger, came back to take an outlaw back alive or maybe dead. He said it didn't matter, he's after Texas Red. But the outlaw didn't worry, men that tried before were dead, right? They knew this handsome ranger was about to meet his death. About to meet his death. More comic book sales, more comic book sales, more comic book sales. When you're living the Lord's Prayer, there's a lot less comic book sales. You don't need to invent villains for chaos to be restored by order, okay? Can you live the Lord's Prayer? Right. Why do you need chaos to make sure that you're the gracious good shepherd, to make sure that we're all living the Lord's Prayer? Sure. I hit harder than she does. Okay, but are we living the Lord's Prayer, Diana Prince? I kick goals better than he does. Okay, but are we living the Lord's Prayer? Okay, are we living free from delusions of human power and authority through sexual manipulation, through debt and trespass and philanthropy? Hey, quantum computing is more intelligent than you now. I've been more intelligent than you now. We've already said so long. If you're gonna go, you better go now. I don't know who's gonna show up in the Tesla to take me to Eureka to recover. She better be sincere. She better be ready to listen when she talks. And if she's ready for that, yeah, she can show up. Yeah, it can be any crazy millionaire or whatever and stuff like that I've talked to on Ubis Tubis. You just cannot have a husband in tow. I've got a man. I'm not trying to hear that, see. Okay. What your man got to do with me? Okay. Go home. Live in your happy home. We've accepted the Lord's Prayer as a standard. Have a nice day. Okay. Like I told Miriam Delegro Mathawa, I figured if the Lord wanted us to be together, we've been single when we met, right? So if I'm single, I want to know, are you single? Are you single? Are you available for me to see, right? I want to know, are you single? That was one of Val's tapes. Good old Cedric. Yeah, Cedric and Michael. I I think Cedric had better taste than Michael. Because in Tucson, I had the OJs. I mean, Foxy was a little bit, I can come to your place. I can love you crazy. In the end, you will understand danger and excitement. That's one of the ones that Ron stole. He sold Sun because of the cover, and he sold Foxy because of the song. Get off, to get off. And I was all upset about it because those are my sister's tapes. I'm going to get in so much trouble, right? They're hard to find. Cedric sent them to her. Her boyfriend, who screwed around on her, and she didn't really care because he was an asshole. But I also I had OJ's with Brandy, and it used to be my girl, and Cry Together, and I also had the Showdown, Isley Brothers. So yeah, Michael did have Slave, and Val came home with Rolls Royce. But I think we already had Rolls Royce with Cedric before that, because we also had Strikes Again, and before that. And so, when we were moving to, we already had Rolls Royce because we were listening to Rolls Royce tapes when we were leaving to go to Tucson in the car, in the back of the LeBaron with Val crying. I'm wishing on a star. Yeah, so yeah. And then we went to Colville after Tucson. So, he definitely had better taste than Michael Peoples. But what did I give? Shalimar and Cameo, which was pretty good, and Slave. Okay, that was Michael Peoples, but I wasn't too fond of Pin the Tail on the Funky. But I still think I like Cedric's taste just a little bit better. Boom, ba-dum, boom. I had a choice, and I had wrong. And there's more to love than fun and games, right? And groove with you, bum, 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 bum. And I always like the OJs. And so I think, but then that's a tough. Don't make me decide, But I'm pretty sure that Cedric would have been into Cameo and Slave also, because everybody likes Steve Arrington, right? He's got that preacher voice, Send my mind, baby, just a little bit, with just a touch of love, just a touch of your love, sends my mind, keeps me high, right? Just one touch. It's annoying. My sister, sitting there going, okay, you're blaming it all on me. I mean, I was telling her about me and Martin. She goes, you were never around with me and Martin. You and Pancha had adjoining bedrooms, and Pancha snagged Martin on all the time, and you were 12, I was 16, and Pancho was 17 going on 18. Right. Okay, and you're going to blame me for all the things that you did because of what happened when we were kids, and I was sorry, it was wrong, and I didn't mean to, and I'm sorry. And you're right, it shouldn't happen. You're going to blame me for everything. And Pancha sneaking guys in and out of the room, and Val going and living with guys and bringing home the money and telling you the stories and all the stuff that happened. You're not going to give any responsibility for your decisions and your choices to your sisters, and you're going to blame it all on your brother, who would correct himself when he was wrong, apologize when he was wrong, and would never do it again. You know what it's like going through puberty with the worst judgmental, creepy hypocrites in the history of the world in your house, and how hard it is it's hard for a guy. It must be totally horrible for women, right? The only thing you can do is either kill yourself with cigarettes and alcohol because you make so many bad decisions, because you make selfish decisions all the time, or you make selfish decisions and you ask Jesus to save you because you can't make good decisions on your own. And Jesus, the corporation asshole, okay, doesn't make decisions. Michael Youssef makes them for you, and he's a fucking idiot like Bob Zankus. A man's the head of the household. What if the man's a complete idiot and an asshole who votes for president of the mass people, murders people over drug companies and oil companies run by the CIA? And then I know Gaia will save us all. All right, holy hero, Batman. Right, it's horrible. Yeah, propaganda sucks. And yeah, guys, I am certain, as the Jerton and the Curtin, the Zamp and the Damp, the you know, and Dr. Susie and Mel Blanc, okay, that quantum computing, okay, understands life better than you do. It can do the math and the science and cut through the crap and the history better than you can. Artificial intelligence at this time is still being manipulated by people that manipulate people with mind invasion and manipulation through Wi-Fi and drugs and alcohol and large metroplexes. And when they go out in the country, they're a lot like the little girl from Idaho whose brother tried to have sex with her because they isolated and contained them and socially made them awkward. And it was just, and you're going through puberty and you're about ready to explode and it sucks. Okay. It's like holding the ocean back with a fucking broom. It's terrible, right? And it's horrible. And it's just awkward situations. And the thing was I didn't do anything like throw people down, grab, stick my hands in things. When Gina Reardon put me, we put each other's hands in things, and she felt that I matured and had hair, and she got nervous, and then she quit and all that stuff, and I was like, oh well, she can't, maybe she hasn't hit that part of puberty yet where she's got a lot of thick pubes like I have. And so it was uncomfortable for her. She started it. I know she started it. She did it with Stacy Cleveland too. It started it, and I was just sitting at home minding my own business, right? And then they would tell everybody, and I tried not to tell anybody because I didn't want everybody in town because it's 3,000 people to say what a slut she was, right? And then that horrible thing that happened with Mr. Coulter or Arlet, who's, and with Jess Correa, I could have, God dang him, he pissed me off. That's why he threw the fork at me. Well, because I go, Marissa's really sweet and she's really cute. I'm thinking about asking her to be my girlfriend. No, I already did. She's my girlfriend. Then why did you tell me to go into the thing back there and she'll let you, rub up on her and all that? And when she did, she looked up and she smiled at me. And I smiled back at her and I came back, okay, well, I'm going to ask her to be my girlfriend. You can't. I already did. Because they knew she was being sexually abused and compromised, and they wanted to take advantage of it. That's what Jess Correa and Booney and all of them did. And that's why they hated me so much. And then Marissa Coulter hated me because she sat there and they went by my house and she said, that's where all Parsons, so what? He's a fucking jerk. He's an asshole. And that hurt. That hurt real bad. I was like, what? I was the one that wanted to protect her and tried to protect her. And now she hates me. See what happens when you have gossipy, bitchy guys with gossipy, bitchy girls because the standard isn't the Lord's Prayer. It's comic book sales and vote for the next content creator of comic book sales. God dang. You don't think that science and math have any validity? Okay, I know exactly what's going to end comic book sales is religion. It's not science and math. Because we've had science and math during all this genocide through comic book sales. Okay, but we haven't had religion for a day, and every time we did have religion, we had King David and King Solomon's Israel, Muhammad's Mecca, and so on, so on, and so forth. So religion saves us from comic book sales, because if you go look at the comic books on the walls of Egypt, the only thing that saved people from the comic book sales was Exodus. Shit. Okay. Holy Hera, Batman. Yeah, Philos. You cannot invent God out of your mind. Okay. You cannot eliminate God with the mind. And you cannot answer all the questions of the universe with the mind. It's not tangible. If you tried to quantify the infinite with the finite, it's going to drive you mad, and you can't have, the thing with the guy, I've got all these books and I can read all these books, all this knowledge. Okay. God's omniscient and omnipotent. Okay. So much for your fucking knowledge, right? Whoa. Okay. What you need to know, you need to do. Okay. If you want to replace God with you, you need to know you can't. So you don't need to do it. Okay. I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that dog and these meddling kids. Yeah. And Morgan Freeman. It sounds better when he says it. Right. I would have gotten away. Yeah, I can't do what. Nah, my Morgan Freeman is more Mr. Clark. It kills your brain cells, son. It kills. We'd have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that dog and the meddling kids. Oh my Lord, 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 Lord. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? You don't need money to fuck. But you do need truth to faithfully love. Right? So I'm the way, the truth, and life, man. Exhausted. I'm tired, man. You all motherfuckers is evil. just evil. Just pure evil. And then all the people trying to good, they're mean. That's why I always tell everybody, I am better than people who ignore me, and I'm stronger than people that abuse me. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. Get over it, bitch. Okay? Looking at my old videos. Man, you're tough. They were trying to kill you. I see why I like the Good Game Bro. When I look at the ones when I'm skinnier 9 years ago, I was like, oh, wow, he looks like he could be my son. And then I went, and then Ebiketti's going to win the championship for Charlotte, North Carolina, Charlotte. Ebiketti, yeah, he's good at that. Yeah, he should be a play-by-play announcer and stuff like that. He's really good at it. He's talented for it. He'd be an excellent play-by-play announcer. He'd be an excellent Marv Albert, Marv Levy. He has even better voice for it than most of the guys that do it, that go to college and do. It's like, no, this guy, he's been practicing. He's got to get a piece of paper from an institution to call the game. Fuck that shit. Okay, if Cascade Valley ever comes up with a university, the play-by-play is Good Game Bro. Oh hell, no, man, that guy's voice is good. He's got a good voice. He does a good. He calls the game. I was laying there, does he go back later and then call it like the other kid, I'm like, no, I think they can do it right on. Oh, well, then he needs to do play-by-play. Jack Nixon and Adam Young ain't got nothing on him. No, and his voice is, I think even Adam Young and Jack Nixon would sit there, no, I think he's got a better voice than I do. And, that's just being kind and modest, and yeah, he's even better than Doc for the Greyhounds. Yeah, and Doc's good. Yeah, he's good. Ed does a pretty good job too. All the people that do the play-by-plays on all the games I watch do a pretty good job. You're like sitting there, go okay, and the color commentary, yeah, it's not bad. Some of the guys, like the little girl at UT Dallas, her analytics and her understanding of the game is quite solid. Yeah, so it was good color commentary, right? So, but let's live the Lord's Prayer first. We can always do color commentary at the Sal Ross Lobos basketball game at the Gallego Center, all right? And everybody in town can show up because your money's no good here, right? Then you won't want to try to get a bus ticket to get the hell out of Superior, Arizona. In Alpine, Texas, there is no difference. Okay. I love you guys, all right? Okay, hang in there. I'm doing it, man. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. Do it right because we can't do it wrong. That's why the whole world is singing this song. Long lay the world in sin and error pining till he appeared, and a soul felt its worth, a thrill of hope. The weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn, right? And Ebiketti's going to win the national championship for the 49ers of UNC Charlotte, right? The gold standard. That's cute. I love you guys. You don't have to pay your bills anymore. You don't want to feed me death sticks. You don't want to give me health care and call it drugs. Drugs and call it health care. I don't know. I'm confused. I've been thinking. All right, guys. I love you very much. We'll talk later. All right. Peace out, man.